Well. Hello, everyone. Hi to Kevin, being the first one here. Let me know if you can hear me well. The audio might be a little shoddy since I'm using the webcam's microphone, and You don't see me right now simply because uh, I'm at my laptop, so I'm gonna put the other camera where I do have the laptop cam. Uh, Perfect, awesome. So, properties, webcam. Okay. Why is my webcam not working right? Oh well. All right. At least glad you're hearing me. Uh, let's uh, let's start the process. I'm currently working. I'm gonna go in camera. So I think you can see me. Yep, you can see me. Nice. Um, I've I've been working hard on this for a while now. I'm quite happy where it's going. I think I do have a plan, a pretty concrete plan. I mean, everything can change at any point in time, but um, there is progress made, and it's heading towards the right direction. I hope uh, it looks well. I mean, it's a mess in terms of rolling stock here, and over there it's just a mess. But at least I should never be back to the camera. I should never have my back towards the camera. Anyways, at least this is something that makes sense. I actually have been working on this right before the stream started, which sounds counterintuitive, being that this stream is me working on this. But it's because it was cutting some wood, and not only is it off camera, but also it's super noisy and it's not really bringing anything to the table. There's still some woodwork that I might do on camera, which is sanding down the edges and screwing down shit. But otherwise, it's going to be pretty smooth running. It's going to be just placing some track, planning around, thinking, talking about the planning, maybe putting some slot car track temporary on the table just to see everything like coming up. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do for the stream tonight. Usually I do at least 2 hours, which is that's not going to be an issue. But I don't know exactly the entire process what it's going to be. Sorry about that. I know a lot of electrical has been done already. I'm going to do some more tonight. That's going to be part of the things I'm going to do, which is put some feeder wires through my little control panel here. I don't think you can see it because of the supporting beam, but there's a little Atlas toggle switch right there, which is, pretty great. It's simple, but it just works. So that's probably a thing I'm going to do. The inner loop is going to go through this simply because sometimes I just want to have my trains off. Still, well, first of all, I'm still running DC half the time, which makes a difference, right? Um, if I do if I do run DC on this, I need to turn off some tracks to turn off some trains. Even in DCC mode, though, if I'm placing trains on track and I want to avoid a short, or simply I don't want to use power that could be sent somewhere else if I'm running multiple trains to idling locomotives, I'm just going to turn off those tracks, which is why there's insulators at multiple points. So for sectors, oh, I'm going to go see what the chat says. Well, hello, Dan. Glad to see you. So like Darkful Lighting, I'm trying my best. I'm sorry. There's multiple light strips on the ceiling. I'm gonna try to add some more, but this is what it's gonna be. I guess for tonight, at least the table is not too dark. I'm dark, but I'm not the part that people want to see. It's the trains, so that's not bad. On my screens, it looks fine on both screens. I unfortunately don't have much I can do. Like I said, there's another LED strip that I found recently that I'm gonna try to put. Just have it up on top of the layout in the meantime, but can't guarantee anything. But yeah, so back to what I was saying. The main line is going to be a pretty long loop. Um, it's going to be going around here, going back there. There's no table there yet, but there will be where it turns around, and go down to here, the narrow straight. This is going to be my freight yard, and also there's going to be one track that leads into underneath the table here for a staging yard. Not there's not even wood underneath there yet, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. But I'm leaving myself the option to do it. Right, that's the idea. The That's the main line. Minimum radius 22-inch, but that's in the middle of a curve. There's always what is it called? An easement curve before of 24-inch radius to help simply ease into the curve, as it's called an easement curve. The inner loop, which will be on two separate sectors. There's going to be the double-sided sector and the double track sector and the single track sector. The double track sector has a minimum radius of 20-inch. The single track sector will have a minimum radius of 18 inches. Not a lot, but it's not the main line. The upper loop, well, I call it the upper loop, the inside loop, whatever, the one with 18-inch radius is not going to have any incline. That way, if I have a train that's a little smaller, doesn't have a lot of traction power, but can turn into narrower curves, it'll be able to do the upper loop, and it's still going to have easement curves of 22 inches, you know? So it's not that bad. Oh, nice. Nice to see you guys. So, hello, Dave and Raven. Glad to see you here. I don't know how much you guys caught up to the stream yet. I was explaining slightly what was the whole plan for the track. I might re-explain a bit more during the stream, but also I'm going to make a regular video that you'll be able to go watch again with a camera to follow and explain a bit more. But yeah, so to go back to what I was saying, and feel free anytime to put questions in the chat. I'll go periodically to check while I'm working on this. But yeah, I'm gonna do freight yard at the bottom here with a 3% incline up. I know it's steep, but it's less steep than the other side. Um, to go above here, there's going to be a track above the yard, goes here on the outer loop, and goes back down. The back there has a 3.5 and a 4% section of the grade. I know what you guys are going to tell me. You're going to scream at me, 4% is too much. It's not going to work. We're going to struggle. Technically, the loop's going to have a direction, and that's going to be going down. I've already tested some of my trains. Everything passenger can go up that 4% grade, and freight has a little bit of a hard time, but I can do a consist of multiple locomotives, problem solved, and it's technically, to me, it's not a problem. It's an operational challenge, which I do enjoy, right? So it's not a bad thing. And if I don't want to deal with that, there's the upper loop that's going to stay flat the entire way around, right? Problem solved. So that's the plan. Electrically, the large loop is the main line. It's always connected, always powered unless the DCC or DC controller is off. As I was saying, the upper loop is divided in two. The double track section, which is the siding for the main line, and the single track section, which is another section. The idea there is either to not use as much power since my controller is limited to 3 amps, or to completely turn off trains when I'm doing DC operations. Both would work, both are great. Some stuff has been put down, like some bus wire has been plugged into and wired up for the outer loop. Inner loop, only one section, and it goes through my switch panel that's already installed. The rest has yet to come, but I don't have all the wood nor do I have all the track to complete, nor do I have the 3% incline foam. So I'm not in a rush, especially now that I have a plan and I technically have the track to do it now, but I'll upgrade to better track very soon. For the inside loop, if I have something to run, I'm happy with it, and I'll be able to keep working. I could start on scenery. I could do more planning for yards. I could do a lot of things. It's all up in the air. So tonight the plan is to finish the inner loop with at least temporary track and do some slot car stuff for fun. So let's see the chat. Hello everyone. Perfect. Oh, I'm sorry to hear, Raven. I hope you have another plan in mind. I've been going back and forth on what I was doing. I've had multiple ideas. Nothing I could really get be happy with. And when this and I started building the sections, I knew what I wanted to do. So that would might be my suggestion here is to start building the sections you know will work with your space and see what it gives you and how it feels and how it would connect and flow properly. So that's why I've been doing it this way. At first, I wanted it to be the inside loop that goes down with a big curve that goes back and forth, and wasn't working really well. It was not flowing very well. Even the track planning software didn't like it. So I turned it around, decided to go another route and see what happens since I knew that section was fixed for the double track and then single track for the rest. Then I thought of doing a figure eight for the inner track here. On paper, it looked great, but when I tried in person with just a flat piece of wood here just to lay tracks on, did not work. Too much curve, too much tight curve. The the two tracks here came close without any logical scenery possible. It wasn't working for me. So I decided, and so I took a step back and was like, well, I didn't want. I wanted a figure eight, so my trains wouldn't just do a simple oval because I'm not a fan of that. I like when my train go left and right, not just left or right. NASCAR is cool and all, but I prefer road courses. Let's put it that way. Road course. So for that reason, I looked at it, took a step back, and I was like, well, yes, the inside loop might be an oval, but the outside loop will not be. So at least I'm going to have one nice loop that's not going to be an oval, and the other one's just going to be simple and it works. And since I'm doing this, a simple oval for the inside, which technically will still have an S-bend there with the switches that it's going to have to go through and all, um, I can do something that makes sense here in this area, which is going to be a big bridge. I'm putting air quotes because it's going to be an actual big bridge, but it's going to be built not by, it's going to be custom made. It might take some time. Where the inner loop, the bridge there, the 90-degree, if you guys watched Unstoppable, the most unrealistic part of the film where the train starts to want to tip on the outside and try to yank it and everything. That steel trestle, that's the idea there. Keeping in mind that underneath is going to be a yard, I think it's going to look really neat to have the trestle, like the steel trestle above a yard. And here is going to be a two track bridge that's going to split up. And you're going to tell me, well, that's not really realistic. You're wrong. Well, yeah. If you look hard enough, there's a prototype for everything. In Montreal, the Victoria Bridge, where the train goes through, there's literally a turnout that splits the bridge in half, and the trains split on the bridge, which is a really cool thing. I'm not going to do that as cool here. I mean, I could rework some switches and do that here, but that's not the main focus for tonight. This section of the bridge is going to be temporary track anyways. I am going to think about that though, doing a switch on the bridge just to add some flavor to the layout. But anyways, not what I was aiming for. This is not the focus. The piece of wood that's on there is slightly larger than what I need. not super large, but large, slightly larger. That way, I can always sand down to the shape I need. But it would have been hard to add to it. It's easier to sand it down than to add to it, so that's why it's slightly larger. It's not screwed yet. That's going to be done. We're going to do the track work to complete the inner loop with, even if it's temporary track, which a lot of it will be, and then we're going to do the wiring for that section, and we're going to run some trains, and then we'll see what happens from there. There's at least 2 hours worth of work right there. So, all right, let's see who's here. Oh, nice. Hi, Colleen. Glad to see you. Well, Raven, let's talk about. uh, we can talk about modular layouts, or we could talk about I don't know if you have any other room where you could have either something that rolls up to the ceiling or folds on the wall or something like that. I've seen people do some crazy things. Or the easier part would be a layout that's sectional, that's like by modules, and you could make yourself a rack to put said modules on it. So that could be an option. And whenever you have some space to yourself, you could attach a module permanently or not. It's up to you. That would be an option for sure. Uh, so yeah, that would be my suggestion if you want it. If you don't, I get it. I'm not an expert. I was just thinking out loud. So that's gonna be it. Let's start working on this. Also, before we start, actually, I want to show you guys something. I received my third gift since I started my channel. First one was from Jim. He's not here tonight, but Jim E, a regular on Dave's channel. He had sent me some easy track that, which might sound weird, but it was just a few small pieces that I needed. Second was Dave's gift, which I showed on the live stream, but I never released my video, and it's so old now that I just feel bad, and it's outdated, of a small N scale building for my main N scale layout, which is still in its box, not the shipping box, but the original Walters box. It will be on the layout for sure on the main N scale layout. It's just since I'm reworking that layout, like I'm moving things around and the city is moving, I don't want to build it and break it when I do install the city section. So instead, that's staying in its box safely until that happens. But for the third one was actually a gift from someone who wanted to join the club that I wanted to start. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, but it is stuff that some of you actually you don't know about, but you do know. I'll try to. Is this better? Let me know if you can hear me better, Dave. I'm sorry about that. Uh, so this should be much better. Awesome. All right. It was turned down for when I was too close to the camera, but now that I'm far, that makes sense. So, back to what I was saying. I received technically 3 gifts since I started my channel. First one being from Jim E on the channel was some pieces of easy track to complete what I was doing back then. Still have them. Great gift. Dave's gift, that is a Walters kit for my N scale layout, still in its box. The video was recorded, but the footage so old it's not even relevant anymore. I do know where I'm going to place it on the layout, but that's when I move the layout to put it properly with a full city area, which unfortunately that's not going to happen. Well, the kit's not going to be uh, built anytime soon because that's going to take a while to do, and I don't want to do the kit first and then break it. Third gift, you guys know you don't. Nobody knows what it is because it's not from someone on YouTube, but it's something that you've seen before on other people and on other people's channel. And here it is. I have my not really LRC, but will be used as LRC cars. The exact same as Dave, so I'm gonna have to follow his channels, well, his videos to upgrade the lighting system in them. One of them has one coupler change to have KD couplers on them. It's gonna stay that way. It's gonna be much easier that way. So that would be my third gift. This is really cool. I'm really happy with it. We're not going to use it tonight for obvious reason because it's not ready to be used. But thank you to Robert, someone who I know personally near, well, around my area, and gave this to me. So I'm really, really appreciative. And so yeah, that would be the gift I wanted to show you. And I'm going to start working on the layout. Just give me a second. All right, so let's start with doing the woodworking, which is screwing down the pieces of plywood so that this actually holds in place. I'll go grab my drill and screw this down. Unfortunately for you guys, we won't. You don't have an accelerate button or skip ahead because this is live. But I think it should be still entertaining either way. I hope it is. If it's not, let me know. I won't do this format again. The voting system, YouTube, my post on my community section of YouTube, people voted for this to happen. So get ready for the carnage that it's going to be. All right, so this. There's there's some key section that I want to put my screws. Not that it necessarily matters, but the spacing needs to make sense for me, and also I need to make sure to leave space for when I do the yard underneath. I mean, I could always move the screws around, but this is gonna work, so whatever. There you go. Of course, because I'm on camera, I'm always gonna be worse than what I am usually. I'm already not great at woodworking. If now I'm on camera, it's gonna be 10 times worse. So this should be. I have shorter screws. I'm going to use the shorter ones. I don't need a 2.5 inch screw for this. One, two. It's weird because usually I'm listening to music while doing this stuff. It's a little quieter. There you go. One pillar attached to the actual wood. And let's align everything back because vibration makes it all move. Which is not a bad thing, just a thing. Alright, so the other one's going to be there. Screw, screw, screw. Use a slightly longer one. Yeah. So just make sure I'm aligned properly. There you go. So you might notice that I don't think you can actually see it from the live stream, but if you could, you might notice that piece of plywood I'm using is slightly thicker than the piece of wood that, well, it's not really plywood, but kind of the piece of particle board that's prior to this. The reason for this is I thought since this is going to be a trestle bridge, not a trestle, but a steel bridge, the tracks are going to be straight on it. There's not going to be any road bed as opposed to these track with pre-road bed. So I thought thicker would make it more level with the current track, which has road bed, right? So that was the train of thought there. Um, if I have to, I'll change it later. So far, it's fine. I mean, so far I just started, but you know what I mean. I don't foresee any problem with this with this try. But like I said, if something happens and I do find problems with it, I'll just change it. No big deal. I'm here to learn, not to be perfect on the first try, and we'll see we'll see how it goes. All right, so this one I'm going to use a long screw because it's going to be a single screw. Go, and then the last one's going to be over there, and that one's going to be the last as well. I took some out earlier. Uh, yeah, nope. Uh, no PJs tonight for safety reason. Uh, we never foresee problems. No, but sometimes there's stuff that you can guess that might be a problem later, and you're like, it's gonna be fine, and it ends up not fine. Well, this isn't one of those times. All right, so let's screw this one in here. Actually, and I need to secure these to the board underneath. So will I go under the table, or will I just? This one I don't have to. But these two, this one's gonna be hard to line. Eh, I don't need to secure these to the table tonight. I can do that later. Anyways, I need to sand it down later. So did I misalign this? This where it goes. Yep, I did. Nice. Congratulations, Kevin. Already the first problem that you didn't foresee. Let's do a second hole. It actually makes more sense already. All right, so off to a good start. You already seen the first fuck up. So yeah, technically those were for safety reason, and but we're looking at something that already makes sense to me, having this piece of plywood there. Like I said, the reason this is cut out this way, for you barely can see, but the way this piece of wood is cut off here is because this is going to be an extended piece that's going to go over to the other side. But since I don't have A, the track, and B, the full plan on what everything's going to be, where everything's going to be there, I'm just going to leave it as is where it's ready to be extended, but it's not going to actually be set up right away. So let's start by putting down some pieces of track. What do I have in piece of string for easier? Well, I have these two, two more than I had before. All right. So what can I do with these things? let's start with this one here. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Like I said, I'm not going to be reading the chat all the time because sometimes I'm going to be really focused on what I'm doing here. I apologize in advance for people who wants to interact with me. But since I needed to work on the layout, this is the best compromise between not streaming and actually and still working on the layout. The other on the plus side, you guys will see all my secrets. And what is, oh right, because this should be this makes sense. You will see my thought process. So, oh right, this I was changing that for a straight piece. Oh, there's actually 7 people here. Yeah, unplanned alteration. That is the best way to put this. Actually, I like your way of thinking. Raven, you're hired for whatever text writing I need in life. So this will go here. I like to use rerailers for transition between easy track and regular track. You have absolutely no need to do this, but since I do have them already on hand, and it's not the most level thing to do, having rerailers for rerailer as a transition track makes it less likely to derail. Let's put it that way. That would be the best way to put it, honestly. So this makes sense. We'll need another joiner. We'll take a nice one because I don't want to ruin. I don't want to use the bad one for a section that's probably going to stay as is. This. Right. So I'm currently using plastic joiners right after the switch here. Like I said, this is for having a block or an area or whatever you want to call this for electrical, uh, not electrical reason, but for simply to the way it's going to work. I'm gonna cut this so I can use on both sides of the layout. That makes sense. This makes sense. I'm gonna cut this here. Oh, I have an X-Acto knife right there. Hoping this length is gonna make sense. This is going to be for the turnout over there. This is going to be for the transition part. This is so the few things I need right now is there's actually a track pack that they sell on that Atlas has for sale. It's a kit of a kit of multiple tracks. There's 2 straights, 2 turnouts, and a bunch of 18-inch radius. I don't foresee using all the 18-inch radius tracks, but some of it, at least in the curve there. And turnouts are always useful, even though they're manual. I'm perfectly fine with that. And the straights are also always useful. So that's going to be definitely an option for this. All right, so let's put this in. This, let's connect it here. Clearly, I'm not the worst at planning my stuff because the lines on the makeshift bridge I have are aligning perfectly with the track. So could have been worse. Could have been better, but could have been worse. It's always think that way. If there's a worse way to do it, I could probably find it, but I'm not necessarily going to do it. I'll leave that to the professionals. So, if you guys think why on earth is he using EasyTrack for his layout, you are correct to think that way, but the answer as to why is temporary. That the EasyTrack section are not permanently placed. I have them already, so it doesn't cost me a dime to put it up, but it will let me try stuff around. It lets me see how it looks, how it feels, and just help me visualize everything. So, and I mean, it does the job to run trains. If you just want to temporarily run trains, it works. Might not be uh, the prettiest, but it works. There's a few people on YouTube I've seen with beautiful layouts that uses EasyTrack, so I don't feel that bad. I don't know if you guys can see this or me. You guys, yep, you can see me. This area, there's a Y. The Y here is I do plan on having, since this is going to be a city area, um, having some sort of spur with an industry somewhere. So that's why this is here. The passenger trains actually, there's two there. They are there to measure. I am thinking of doing a passenger station that the train goes in here, this a little like rectangle here, and you're gonna tell me, well, your trains are much longer than this. What are you gonna do? Well, this is gonna be a mountain area with some tunnels. What I was thinking to hide the trains and park them properly without taking too much space on the layout is extend the track in the mountain up to very near the back curve of the inner loop and have the trains hidden in the mountain. I know it's not going to be super realistic to have a short building, nor will it be super realistic to have the train come out of nowhere. It's not a magic trick or a Harry Potter world, but you gotta do what you gotta do with the space you have, and hiding the trains in the mountain to me makes sense if the idea is to park them but leave it on the track, especially since my staging yard is not complete for years to come. So that's the idea here. They are curving on the outside. Don't know if they're going to stay that way and add a turnout there with a diamond over the spur, which would look neat, or if I'm going to turn them the other way around to reach the turnout that's there already. I don't know. I don't have an answer, and I don't know when I'll have an answer. That's later. That's planning for later. It is looking like it's going to go towards this side of the layout. It seems to make sense, and the runs would not be too tight of a curve, but we'll see. Worst case is we have to redo some stuff, but like Raven said, it's not a mistake. It's just altering the plans. Or I'm gonna go read that again. So let's see uh, in the chat. Unplanned alteration. Well, keep that wisdom coming, Raven. I really like it. So I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with mixing track. My best example would be my N-scale layout. There's technically three types of track mixed together, and it works just fine when done properly. And when I say properly, I mean like good transitions, good for valid reasons. It's just on this layout, I want to avoid easy track, especially the aluminum rails. They don't work as well, and they get dirty really quickly. So since nickel silver atlas track is really not that expensive, it's just I don't have it yet. I'm gonna use this until I have the tracks that I need. And hey, if it runs and makes me happy, where's the issue, right? Otherwise, this is the idea of what it would look like. Also, another reason why I'm not going to use it, the radius I want to use for most of this layout is not available in from Botman, and they're so much more expensive. When you already have it, it's fine, but they're so much more expensive. I don't want to be using that. I don't want to buy more of this. If anything, I'm going to get rid of some. All right, so let's put this away for now. Now I'm going to put it back. Well, I'm going to put it back on the shelf, but it's still going to be closed in case I need it. Now we're going to do some electrical work to have that area connected uh, to the switch box. My idea here, which is not final but an idea, would be to wire. So first off, to go back to where to go let's roll back. All the feeders that I've put in so far, I've done the exact same technique all around, which is solder the feeder wires to rail joiners. I know this technique is not the most loved by everyone, but it works great for me. It works great in N scale, so I thought, why not an HO scale? And so far, it's been working great for me. I'm gonna solder some to the rail joiners here, and have some wires that goes from here to the switch panel for the inner single track part of the loop, which is gonna work. But there's always a but. That feeder is will have to be worked on, so I'm going to leave some extra wiring so I can extend the feeder wire to the back corner, because I do want more than one feeder in this section. I just don't want to do it yet because it's easy track, and also I don't even know if I have enough wiring to do all of that right now. I'll have to look it up actually. Ooh, how much wiring do I have left? No idea. Let's figure that out. Hey Mobile, glad to see you here. Uh, That's one of my coworker, a good friend of mine. All right, so for electrical, let's see what amount of wire I have left first. So I have this string of black wire, which is too short for the run I want to do. I should have more in my drawer here. You didn't see that? Do I have more? Did I use it all? Both are possible. Oh. I have more here. Nice. Is this the right length? Otherwise, I do have more there. Nice, I have more. It was actually strands from something else, but it's in wood. This is the perfect length for what I want to do. It's actually a little longer than what I need, which I said I needed longer than what I actually I wanted longer for to extend the bus wire. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to need the drill to drill holes for this, and then we're going to solder the feeders to the joiners. Replace the joiners, going to be easier. Drill holes for this. What I also like to do, normally I run through the wires in between the tracks in the middle, down under the table. But since one of the things I know I'm going to put is what is it called? A control tower for my trains, for my area here, I'm going to pass those wires on the side of the track and have them decently visible, simply to look like sense wires or sensor wires, whatever, for the trains that goes to the station. It's a neat trick I've seen online and I've seen in person. Actually, the sense wire, they're huge on rail trains. So that's what I'm going to do for this. So we're going to have to work at this. All right. If my layout becomes a mess by the end of the night, don't be alarmed. It's very normal for me. That's my process. I I start decently messy, decently clean. I mess up everything and then I clean it all up. It's not the best work method, but it works for me. So we'll we'll keep we'll we'll keep the known good recipe, right? Alright, so I need my wire strippers, which are here somewhere. Right there. And then alright, so and now you see why I usually film stuff and I don't work. I'm very clumsy. Let's cut this off. Let's put it here so I don't lose it. Let's go. I'm saying out loud where I put my stuff so that later in a few minutes, when I'm asking where my stuff is because I lost it, because I'm just that bad at stuff, you guys are going to be able to tell me. Oh, why? There's a lot of people. Uh, Hi, Jersey Bill. Glad to see you here. Yeah, Kevin has strippers. Off to a great start. That sounds about right. I only have one stripper claw, I guess. Alright, so my drill again. Let's drill some holes. Let's drill some holes for the wires that the stripper is gonna get ready for. Not holes, just holes. Oh boy, I'm not helping my case here. Yeah, yeah. I hope it's decently clear. I know you guys said it was dark, but I hope it's not too dark. If it is, let me know. I'll try the. I didn't actually put the LED strip, the extra LED strip. Um, I have a few drill bits I could use. Let's take the drill out first and see what I have to drill a set of holes. So I'm trying to have the holes as near the gauge of the wire as possible. I like clean wiring. I worked on computers for a while, and cable management has always been a thing for me that I really both enjoy doing and appreciate the result, like by a good margin. Of course, the bit I need is the bit I can't find. It most likely won't be here, but I need to look. If I don't look and it's there, I'm gonna be mad at myself for not checking. So yeah, cable management in my computers have always been important. So that's why I try to do as neat wiring as possible, at least on the front side. On the back side, might be a little messy. As long as it's tucked up out of the way and there's no shorts, it's fine. So that bit seems pretty good for the wires. Don't worry, the tracks are not powered. I'm not. Yep, that's perfect actually. More of the. I had my drill right there. All right, so let's do some digging, shall we? And this is why we're all right, one down, one to go. Ew, I just want to align it. There you go. Stop walking around. All right, so these holes are done. Let's do. Actually, let's go one step bigger for the hole on the side of the track because that one needs to have both wires in, which is right here. There you go. All right. So let's let's prepare some wires, shall we? So this, I need to remove the resistor and not this. Well, that's fine, I guess. No, that's not fine. And two equal, about equal wire. Yeah, that's perfect, actually. All right, so I'm gonna have to go off camera for a minute. I don't know why my webcam on my laptop's not working. I could show you what I'm doing there, but I will need a pair of rail joiners, and I know I have some brand new ones somewhere near. I think it's over there. Oh, right there. A pair of new rail joiners. So yeah, I'm gonna be close to the camera so it's easier. So what I do is I solder the wires to the underside of my rail joiners. That way, it'll it'll look sleek and won't be in the way. I push them down under the track, and like I said earlier, it's going to be to the side of the track instead of in the middle like I usually do, because there's going to be a control tower right there. I could show you the box later of the upset tower. And so yeah, that is going to be the plan to power this section. These small wires, which you guys can't see from there, these small wires will be soldered to, I don't even know if you can see this. Yeah, you can. All right. So these small wires will be soldered to the bigger bus wire, and that will be going to the control panel that is literally right behind the pole for the camera angle. But that's the only angle get that gets the entire layout as of right now. So we're gonna actually put a cover on the stream for 30 seconds. By cover, I mean just put a still image for 30 seconds so I can move the camera to my workbench so I can actually so I can do this and so you guys can see what I'm doing. Once this is soldered, I'll go back to the camera of the layout and put them in. Or I could try to bring everything there and solder it there. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. It's going to be easier for camera work. All right. So I soldering iron with the necessities. I have so many projects going. All right. So flux, solder, electric tape in case I need it, soldering iron, some mostly oversized heat shrink, but at least it's gonna work. And I need the actual platform, which is under everything. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. The world is not collapsing. I'm just bad at moving my stuff. All right, so let's work from this spot. I think you guys will be able to see it from there. If not, I'm sorry. I will try to find a better spot after this because there's a bit more soldering to do later. Yep, this. I have a power bar right here that I will turn on. All right, so that's in, and first was to have a light on what I'm doing. I don't know if you guys can. You can see the light, but you can't see the platform because of the pole. That lamp pole has been in the way of everything tonight. And no, it's not a stripper pole for uh, you guys. I'll put it that way. So I have the soldering iron right here, which I will not plug right now. The wires, wire strippers. All right. So you'll see me, but you won't see what I'm doing, of course, because I'm that good at aligning everything. But that's basically the best spot to work from. That's the unfortunate truth with this layout. Well, it's not unfortunate. It works great for many things. It's just where I put the camera that made sense. It's the angle that doesn't get bad. So, all right, this is gonna go there. This, this. That's fine. I'm gonna plug it in now. From city. So what I usually do is put the rail joiners in a gator clip, and the wire I'm soldering to, I'm soldering uh, in another one, and just have them close to each other, right? Well, touching each other. These gator clips on a right, you guys can't see it, but these gator clips that hold stuff for me makes soldering so much easier. Highly, highly recommend. It's called a third arm. What is it called? Third arm set or whatever. It's multiple gator clips on arm that you can move around. They're partially flexible, I guess. They're not really flexible. They're just how do I say this? They're I'll just show you later. It's going to be easier to show you than to explain. But they're small arms that you can use to hold your stuff while you're soldering. Dave has, I think, a single or two arms, but they don't have a platform to attach to. Mine is a metal platform that with very strong magnets that holds the light that has a magnifying glass on it. And well, a magnifying glass with a ring light on it, so your face is not in the way of the light. And you have two short, two long arms that hold everything. So it's really good for that. All right, so first step would be to put some fluff on everything. And where is the piece that I used to do that yesterday? It's somewhere around, oh, right there. If that's not it, I'll use this. That'll do. Let's put a bit of flux so that the solder spreads more evenly and better. I have discovered that my solder doesn't adhere well unless I put some flux on it, like not too much, but a decently generous amount, I guess. And once that is in, also I need to make sure that the metal underneath where the solder is trying to adhere is also warm. If it stays cold, it just rolls in a ball and doesn't actually adhere. So there's that. I've also noticed that the solder I bought it works much better than the solder that came with the soldering iron. So there's that. All right, so just let's see what I'm doing so I don't mess everything up. I am very low. And that's one. Now let's move things around to have the other wire on. I hope I'm not being too boring for you guys right now. It's just a stream where you work on your stuff is A, difficult to have good angles, and B, difficult um, to show and or cut out the boring parts because there's some stuff that's just tedious and time consuming, but aren't hard or I guess worthy of showing and or explaining. So like the time it takes me to properly align the wire to these what is it called? Why can I think of words? Um, the time it takes me to align properly the rail joiner with the wire, you don't need any explanation as to why you need to align it, but it's still time that I need to take to do it so that it works properly. So that's an example of why working on stuff live stream might not be as interesting as actively changing trains and talking to you guys, but I'm trying to be as interesting as possible. If there's anything I could improve, let me know. Like I said, the lighting, I am aware. I'm working with what I have in an unfinished basement. It's on the project list as home upgrades, but for tonight, it's gonna have to do at least from my camera. It's it's not that bad. Like from my live feed on my screen, it's fine. My brightness might be a little high on the screen, but at least it's fine. So I don't think it would be. No, no, it did not. Wait, let me push this. No, it did not. There you go. No, it did. You know, power off. There you go. All right, so I'm gonna go show you the result and then go look at the live chat. The the proof that they were brand new is that they are still attached together. This is how I know they were brand new. Yeah, they're kind of clear. The wires are soldered to the back of it. I'm gonna cut them, insert them on the track, and it's gonna be my feeders. But before I do so, I will cut and strip this side of the wire and prepare the bus wire so I can solder this to the bus wire right away. So it's gonna be easier to set up that way. I'll go. I need a wearable mic. Yes, I'm using the webcam. Uh, I'm using the webcam's mic before playing with the exposure because this setting is where the colors were the nicest. I'm gonna put up the other LED strip above me, see if that helps. If not, well, I'm sorry, but at least that's gonna be the other thing. The thing is, when I tested it, it was still pretty clear outside, so the natural lighting was filling up the room quite a lot by itself. So it's hard to gauge before a stream when the stream is in the dark, but not in the preparation time. This is a pretty strong LED strip, so it should help. All right, so let's plug this in where the soldering iron is, and let's hope it makes a difference. And I know there's some stuff there's a lot of stuff I could do to improve the YouTube channel and the live stream. I'm prioritizing right now with the budget I have, and tracks and stuff for the layout has been priority number one. Tracks and stuff for the layout have been my priority number one before anything else. So, well, this glows, but will it actually make a difference? And can I put it up so that it actually lights up the correct spot. Uh, it makes a difference for my eyes, but not necessarily for the webcam. How could I put this so that it actually lights up the layout and me and not the camera make it darker? Where I know I can put it over there. I can sneak it there. Let's see. No, there's not a lot of support I can put this on. Fortunately, let's try. Right now, it feels like I'm only lighting up the parts of the basement I don't want to see, which is unfortunate, but that's what it is. I guess I could do that. Actually, I'm going to go the opposite way. This already makes more sense to me. Yep. This makes more sense to me already. That's not a bad thing. Alright. So, next. Uh, does it improve or makes it worse? Uh, needs other side of the beam. Yeah. What do you mean by other side of the Yeah, hanging it around my neck. No, I don't want to die. Uh, it's better? Good. Alright, so I'm gonna try to find a way to hang it up on the. I might just drill, uh, not drill, but insert a screw or two in the beam so that it has a place to rest and be on the ceiling from above me. That would make sense actually. Like if I had it here, somewhere there, that would make sense. I think. Uh, over the layout, yeah. So I guess completely on the other side of the beam, right? Well, I mean that area has is not as nice, right? If you're talking on like here, sure, but if you're talking further down, it's not a. There are lights there shining. Actually, it's just the camera not picking it up. I'll try something. Give me a minute. And don't call OSHA for me for climbing on my chair like this. There's something there I could use. That's not going to be worse. And there's something there I could use. Oh shit! That's exactly what I didn't want. Fucking hell! So this is going there, and this is going to get fixed somehow on the other side, and this is going to be it for. It's going to be as good as it's going to get for tonight. The unfortunate thing is, LED strips are not the same thing as the real thing. That's real lights. There you go. So from now on, how bad is this? It does look brighter on my side. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Good. I'm glad that this is better. This is gonna get some a better way to stay up there, but I guess this is gonna stay there for a while now. This makes actually makes sense for myself as well. All right, so let's get back to soldering. I now that it's actually brighter, and also, yeah, the chair was not the smartest thing ever. But if you guys call OSHA wrong jurisdiction, this is Canada. They won't come here to tell me that I'm doing an unsafe practice. There is a Canadian office, but I'm not telling you guys which one it is. You could probably Google it in 5 seconds. All right, so back to soldering. I'm gonna need the wire I said I was putting there, which I right there. Pre-stripped, ready to. Actually, no, that looks dirty and gross. I'm gonna cut what's existing and start again for that part because that's not nice. Let's turn on the light on the. There you go. Now let's do one wire at a time. So let's do the black wire first because why not? And so first thing before I do anything else, and before I forget it, I'm gonna put the heat shrink on it right away. Otherwise, I will forget about it, and then I'll be in big trouble. Well, not big, just I'll have to redo everything for because of my own stupidity, which would not be the first time. So how long this is gonna do this. All right, so let's put this there with the. I have my heat shrink on the cable ready. I'm gonna heat up the soldering iron. I'm gonna strip this wire, this. I'm gonna put them both on my gator clips and dip them both in flux so that they actually connect together. And I don't know how flux works or why does it help. Oh, I dropped it. Or anything. I don't know much. Technically, you could just say that, but from personal experience, it does work and it helps me. So I'll keep using it until I get shown a way that doesn't need it. But until then, I'm using it. Okay, so let's align things up with a tad bit of pressure that holds them together. Like this. There you go. All right. Now the soldering iron is ready. Let's solder these two wires together. I'm going to move the other here. I'm bad at this, but it works. So, not the prettiest job, but it holds and current flows. So good enough for me. Yeah, That's a little too hot. I did put my soldering iron to a little too hot. Oh well. I'll know it for whenever I'm done. So it looks like it's not as dark, but still dark. I'm sorry, guys. I'll go check for the aperture on the camera, but don't give yourselves too high of a hope. Um, I'll come over and show you uh, once the wiring is all done together. Like I said, at least I'm using heat shrink now, which is already an upgrade from not too long ago. All right, so let's prepare the other wire. Let's strip it. There's nothing like stripping, right? All right, so next wire on the list would be the red wire. I need to do the heat shrink before I forget. I almost forgot. I would have been mad at myself. All right, heat shrink on the cable right now. This it's on. Now I can go along with. I can move along with the soldering, which I'm gonna. Well, I need to cut apart the two rail joiners because now I need to work to separately. Let's see the chat actually. Uh, let's see, layout is under construction. Yeah, everything is under construction. So what? Hi, Spooner. First of all, I know I'm off the camera. It's just I'll bring the screen closer actually, since I can do that now. All right. So yes, I can read actually. Nice. All right. So uh, to go back to the chat, hi Spooner. Yes, I'm stripping again. What was wrong with the layouts? It's not that it was wrong. Is that a lot of what I had on the HO layout was temporary. So I'm trying to slowly chew away the temporary stuff to put permanent stuff. That's why it's under construction and a lot has been redone. Also, you don't see it well because I'm in front of it. Actually, I'm going to move that side. Um, I extended the layout. The wood is there, but not everything else because I don't have all the track work to do it. The layout's going that way from now on. Well, not from now on. That it's going to be the other N scale layout. The main one. The reason it was under construction is because I needed to use some of the wiring bits from that one to this one, and I have a spare. Actually, my friend has a spare control panel and the wiring bits that I need for my layout is going to lend me. And I need to move that layout, which you guys can't see, but the main N scale layout, so that I have enough space for both layouts at the same time in the same area, just slightly moved to the side. So that's why they're both under construction and not fully working. And that's what's happening here. Uh, if we say boo really loud, you can try. So Colleen is correct, as in its mood lighting. I don't even put it on white. I put it on yellow or orange when I'm alone here because in person the brightness is bright enough without it for to see very well around. And a yellowish orange light is more relaxing and just it lights up well enough to work, but not too bright so that it's hard on your eyes. So that's why I usually like to put it on yellow or orange. So it's actually mood lighting, yeah. Um, um, but yeah, for strip, it's mood lighting for stripping. That would be purple if I did that. Uh, uh, you know. So, which part did you miss, Jersey Bill? Is it the why it's under construction, or why the lighting is this way, or why why the lights are? not too strong LEDs, because technically there are a lot of reasons for everything. But yeah, as I was saying, for the track, I'm just slowly moving away from temporary easy track and going towards permanent either snap track or Atlas snap track or even flex track. Um, and that's why it's under construction. The first few streams we did was purely easy track, and then we started putting some Atlas snap track and flex track and some Pico flex track now. Um, and I'm slowly chewing away. I've done some more bench work there and there. This is not done, and it's going to continue to grow that way. The N scale layout is out because it needs to move, and I needed some parts off of it for the HO scale stuff. And since I'm really focusing on the HO scale and I can still run some N scale trains on the tiny 2x4 layout, that's why I was okay with taking some parts off of it. And the lighting, well, to go back to what I was saying, I usually prefer to have it on yellow or orange as a more dim and relaxed lighting, but still bright, because in person these lights are really bright. They're just uh, how do I say this, diffused, as it's not a concentrated light. So that's why it's not great lighting for filming, but it's great lighting for working on it. So that's where I'm at. I was getting the snippers. I really got. You want to see the colors? I can show you, but you're probably not going to see much on this camera. So orange for this. This one is not usually. Where's the controller for that one? Oh boy. Does this controller work? No. Okay. Oh my god. How many settings does this one have? I don't want flashy lights. I just want a steady orange. A steady red. There you go. So this is what I usually have. As you can see, it's darker, like a lot darker. In person, it's more than bright enough for me to work on my stuff. Even then, there's one I can turn off. This is what I'm working with usually. This is the lighting I'm working with in person. Like I said, it's plenty bright in person, but it's dim and a lot easier on the eyes. Also, it gives a sunset vibe to the trains running, so it's really nice. I can also put it in blue, like dark blue, so that way it looks like a night scene when I'm filming, like a regular video. But this is not great for filming, so let's bring it back to white and to so that it's bright. All right, so should be back to the lighting I needed. Eric Mo, are you building a disco room? No, but some of the lights do have a setting for music reactive, and I do use it for times to time when I listen to loud music, and it's quite fun. But that's not the point of this. Uh, my snippers, right, my snippers. I need the snippers and the strippers. Alright, so let's cut these rail joiners apart. When I'm working on this, I usually cut pretty quickly, so I was expecting the joiners to be quite warm. Nope, they're quite cold from sitting for a while since I was talking to you guys. Not a bad thing, it's actually a good thing. Just funny, I was expecting warm and I got, ooh, cold. Uh, that's it. Nothing more to say about this. So flux on both. Let's put the wire in, align my stuff, and solder. Oh, I need to warm up the soldering iron. And let's bring it. All right. Let's solder this together. Nope. One out the way. All right. So another solder job done. Let's take the wires out of the gator clips. Put the heat shrink over. Melt. Well, not melt, but heat it up so it shrinks. And I'll go show you the results. Sure. All right. So this is a very short bus wire. Uh, so as oh, I'm too close now. As I was showing earlier, the rail joiners with the wire soldered to it with attached to my bus wire with a heat shrink on it. Same for the black wire. Heat shrink on it attached to this. And this is me realizing I might have messed up by soldering the bus wire to these wires right away. Shoot. Needs to go through the hole, and I don't know, the hole's not big enough for these. God damn it. Oh. Just when I was so proud of what I've done. What do I do? What do I do? Do I extend the hole so it fits, or do I redo everything? I'm gonna extend the hole. Whatever. You guys didn't see anything. I'm gonna use two hands on my drill for this because it's weird. All right, this should work. Let's push that feeder wire through, and let's not talk about that ever again. Nope, nope, nope. This never happened. Fits like a glove. As intended, right? I never did that mistake. It was always intended to be that way. Right, guys? Soldering iron unplugged, even though it was off already. Move to the side. Grab the wire from underneath. It's not going the way I need it to go. Yep, there you go. Got it. So, let's go see what you guys are talking about in just a second. Well, a few seconds. I need to fix this first. Well, not fix, but push my wires in. Now, will the heat shrink fit through? I'll just send one at a time. this one's there. So the heat shrinks are the only thing not fitting through, of course. I'm just gonna run with it, and just have the wires loose on top like this. Keep these two joiners near because they're good joiners. Wiring, the red is on the inside, the black one is on the outside. Alright. Put the feeder in place. Can't believe it messed up that. Alright. So, while the wires are sticking out like a sore thumb because I didn't think it through, actually, if I would have thought it through, I would have made that same mistake. So, uh, you did that. That's true. Shrubbery, the shrubbery. Yes, the shrubbery. Um, that would be probably what I'm gonna do. Actually, I'm just gonna make an even bigger hole so that the what is it called, the heat shrink go through, and just call it a day. It works, and like you guys said, the shrubbery will hide the wiring, or I can put a small control box on it. There's multiple ways to hide this wiring, but I need this wiring to be there, and I need it to be looking at least half decent. So let's enlarge the hole again so that the heat shrink goes through. Actually, it needs to be slightly bigger like this. All right. This should work. There's a logic to all of this, by the way. Might not seem like it, but there is. And once the finished product is, well, finished, you guys will see what I was trying to do. Maybe some of it that will not make sense, even finished, but I'm willing to take that risk, knowing that if it does make sense, I'll be very happy with the results. There you go. This fits. Hey! Not only is the hole not that big, but it does cover. It will be. It's very useful. So that's done. Now, where is the other side of that wire so I can feed it through and just pass it on to my stuff. So this should, in theory, be correct. Why did I do this I might enlarge the holes a little bit. Yeah, just not exactly what I was looking for. There you go. An extra 32, I don't know, 64th of an inch, and it's gonna fit right through because of that. There you go. It actually worked. Who would have thought? And you guys can't see me now. Wow, why is it so blue? The white balance really went off when I put some yellow stuff, some yellow lighting earlier. That is terrible. Why is one going through no problem, but the other one being a pain? There you go. Got the other wire through, and it's perfect length. It sticks out about an inch, which is all I need to attach on the switch box. And yeah, it's those yellow Atlas switch box, nothing fancy. They just work, and I think they look pretty neat. Like they look clean enough that they can look good on the side of your layout without sticking out too much, without also sticking out enough that you can see them and you don't have to look for them. There you go. So, wire strip. I just need a screwdriver to attach this. Uh, why a safety officer? I've actually done a proper job here, and it actually wasn't dangerous. And no, I'm not getting on top of my chair again. So I didn't actually need a half-inch hole, even with everything in place. I put a 9/64 inch hole, but I put two literally side by side, so it made an oval hole, uh, and that worked perfectly fine. These wires are 16 gauge wires, 18 gauge, 16 gauge wires, and they work perfectly fine for what I need. All right, so let's see if this works very soon. Let's hope I don't lose those screws like I often do, because I bag them out as much as I can right before they fall out, and oftentimes they do end up falling out, and I get mad at myself for letting them fall, and I can't find them, and it's always a pain in the butt. But when I try to make it fall on purpose, it won't fall, and then small screws and other first world problems. Come on, stay where you need to be. And I lost it. God damn it. I heard it fall in the box. I can hear my girlfriend from a miles away. Wow, if you cleaned the floor there, you'd find it right away. I know. But, I'm not good at making decisions. The only good decision was her. So, there's that. And the wire got off the screw. Come on, you were right there. Just when the screw works, the wire decides not to cooperate. It's always one or the other, right? Either you lose the screw or the wire doesn't cooperate. You can't have it work properly ever. I might just say screw it and just put the wire through, the screw through the wires and just call it a day. Because at this point, I'm mad at it. Am I? Am I technically getting it? Oh, snap! I got one. Let's see if I can get the other one now. I do have one spare screw. Let's hope I don't lose that one. Let's prepare everything so that when I'm ready to do it, it falls right into place because that makes a big difference. And that's okay. Uh, I've done worse. She knows me. I'm really bad at keeping my stuff in order, so she knew what she was getting into when she got with me. All right, hey, they're in, wire soldered, the wiring is aligned, everything should work. Let's test it. So this is the soldering iron. Yep. Which one is my controller? All right, and I need to connect my tracks to the controller because otherwise it's never going to work, obviously. Power it on. Let's grab a locomotive because it's never going to. I have one right here. Oh, I have this one. This one works nice and looks nice. So let's make sure there's power to the main line because that's where the power goes at all time properly. Power to the main line. So technically success, technically not success. Technically success because it still works. Technically not success because it's not the new part I installed. It's just something that already works. So there's that. Let's move this out of the way. Let's get my train on the proper track. Right? Well, there's still power to the inner line, so that switch works. And then let's send it to the back loop. Hey, well, it has to work because for the train to move there, when there's insulated joiners on both sides, that means there's that works. It means the wiring works, so that's actually great. I'm actually glad about it. All right, update. This is why I don't recommend Easy Track. There's a joiner that's not sending power, and because of that, there's no power here. And as soon as it gets to, alright, so, well, that's a good news. That means I can move this around. So, multiple good news here. A, replacing Easy Track is really easy. The whole point of the name is Easy Track for a reason. B, I have plenty of Easy Track to replace it. So I know I have some working track that I could put there, and C, I can use it now. I can use those frames now. So that's very much of a win. And no, I'm not going to solder that easy track piece because it's easy track piece. You know, that kind of defeats the purpose. Let's see if I can find which one's the culprit. So I play around with. Okay, so it's one of these two. I'll remove both of them and just grab two more, hoping that I find two working ones. No more. Out with these. Let's put that back in place. There we go. And let's find two more pieces that are supposed to be working. This one looks pretty clean and the joiners look pretty nice. And same for these two. So I have, oh no, these are 20 different ranges. This also looks nice. All right, let's try these two. I'll keep these two out just in case. That felt like a good snap. Oh, snap. And we have power. There you go. Well, folks, we have a working circuit, and to prove that they're independently controlled, that section's off. I'm going to let it go to that section and just turn it off, turn it back on. I'm going to turn off that section. This one's still working. And boom, it stops working. Perfect. As intended. Now I'm just super happy it works. This is not great. I'm going to turn these around. This. Oh. There we go. Alright, so that. Alright, let's put some cars behind it and see if it runs. And I will surprise you all by showing you that somehow these fancy Walters mainline passenger cars run on 18-inch radius. They don't look great, but they do. So they don't look great when they're doing it, but they do run on 18-inch radius. So let's enjoy my favorite piece of rolling stock, which is stainless steel Canadian passenger cars, and have them run on the layout. And now, since the main goal has been achieved, which was to wire this in and have it work, I will have fun with either slot cars or just running some trains around, just swapping trains around. So let's functionality. Let's see what the chat has to say. Stand on the chair for a celebration. Okay. Oh, oh, oh. As funny as it is, they derailed on the switch, which is an easy switch, not easy track switch, just like a smooth switch, but not on the track. Why would I like to have separate circuits? Good question, Mo. So the idea is these trains are not independently controlled. So if I want to park a train and leave it on the track because the most common way to break your trains is by moving them in and out of your layout. Well, you don't want those to run because you want to run other ones. Well, I'm back to camera. I'm bad at this. So yeah, you want multiple trains on your layout, but you only want to run one. You need to park the other trains somewhere where there's no powers going to it, but you want to be able to get them out by themselves, not by moving them yourself. So if you're if you have separate power blocks like this or power controls or whatever by sections, you can turn off a section and have the train not move while the other one is moving. Great example. I'm going to put another train on the layout, and this one's going to stay there. That's the idea here, is to be able to do, just a sec. I don't want it to go that way. I want it to go this way. This, this. So this one moved, and now this one doesn't. This one moves and this one doesn't. That's what you want to be able to do. It's not that you have to do it this way, but if you prefer to do it this way so that you can have a train still on the table so you don't mess it up by taking it off or mess up the scenery around it, but also still have multiple trains on your table but control one, because when you're alone controlling your trains, multiple trains can be overwhelming, or you can forget something and just they hit each other or whatever. This is the solution. So that's why having switches like this makes it so much easier to run your trains, or to not run the trains you don't want to run. Also prevents accidents. So yeah, let's let's try again with that switch. If it still has issues, one of the things I wanted to do was nail down that turnout and change. I don't know if I'm going to change the flex track there. No, I'm not. Nail down that turnout because it's not currently nailed down, and nail down the new Y. And I've just noticed why it derailed. The joiner is not properly in. So it's my fault for not doing a proper track work here. This one is wrong. There you go. I don't think that's where they derailed, but that's still going to be a thing. I'm gonna nail the track down right away. Might as well since I'm hearing the train stop. So I have a very unorthodox method of doing this. I don't actually use a hammer to nail it down. I pre-drill half of the hole, and then I insert it with a pair of pliers slowly so that it pushes on the track at the right uh, with the right pressure. So thank you, Jersey Bill. I don't know if he's back. When Jersey Bill's back, I will say thank you for the good job compliment. Hoping that was for me, not for someone else. Usually, he's not so kind with Dave, but also Dave does some pretty fun stuff. Let's put it that way. Where is my hand drill? My finger drill is in the still in a spot. All right, so I'll go put that nail down so that everything stays straight, and then I'll think about putting nails for the beginning of this section, but that's up in the air for do I do it tonight or not? All right. Oh my God, this is moving a little too much. I left one here. Curious. Well, not curious. It's actually logical. I thought it was not working properly. That's the wrong drill bit. That would make sense. This one is too small. There is such a thing as too small, unfortunately. Where is the proper bit? Out there. Nope, that's not the one. Uh, I know it's in here. That's where I left it. There you go. This is the proper bit. I don't even know how small it is. It's just something I've been using for a while now. Just making sure. Yep, that's the proper bit. Perfect. Alright, so let's actually put it down the way it's supposed to be. Alright, and let's push a nail in. There you go. Almost set. There you go. And it's set. This track will not move. Not for a while anyways. And I could put one more here, actually. Just to get a head start on this section. And have that not move. Alright. So move this out of the way. Move this out of the way. Pre-drill the wood. Alright, let's try that again. Try number 2. Will the train go through without derailing? And if it does derail, let's change the train because this is not my easiest to run. So, let's see. Alright. Will we have a success story or a sad story tonight for that switch? And again, to be clear, if it does not work, this is the more sensitive, when I say sensitive, like easiest to derail. I will not blame the train or the track work. I will put most of my rolling stock and it'll be fine. This is really a specific, a very sensitive train, like easy to derail. So this is going through. This is not. All right. So there's that car is being a little whiny, fancy old car. Why does it split the switch when everything else is fine? Like the switch is fine. I will bring it around and then swap to the Canadian Pacific train because that one's actually easier to run, even though it has 2 engines, 2 pretty long engines. That It works fine in the 18-inch radius. We'll figure that one out. Okay, it looks actually really, really neat on that bridge there. That was a good call. I'm very happy about that. Yep, very happy about that. All right, so I will move this train out of the way, and because the outer lane there is the main line, this one always has power. I cannot park a train there, so and the way it's set, the switches are set, I cannot cross over easily. But that's a separate story. We don't talk about that. My whole layout is going to be set so that the outer loop is the main line and everything else is just a bonus section that I can do stuff with. So for that reason, sometimes it might look odd what I'm doing. Right now, it's not going to be the not the. It's going to be a little weird in the sense that it doesn't make sense to not have a switch on the main line, but once everything's going to be complete, you guys will see this design works fine. But I'm very, very, very happy with the bridge going on right now. I really like this dome car. This was the first one of this train that I bought because if I told myself if I only have one, could I only have one, the dome car would be it. So let's move this train aside. Let's put the CP rail one instead because this one should work fine. There you go. Let's put this on the track. This one. Also, just as an FYI, these CP rail cars are not the same. These are the old style Concours cars. They are very light usually. I added weights in them, and since then they've been running a lot smoother, which I would highly recommend. All right, let's see how this one reacts. I don't know if you can see well through the camera, but the angle of in between each car is a little wider on the curve closer to you guys at the bottom, the back. Like I said, that reason is simply the minimum radius for the curve closest to you guys is 20-inch, while this one is 18. But I think it looks pretty neat either way, and the bridge really, really completes it. I really like it. I'm just glad it works. I'm just so glad it works. Also, before we do anything else, the train's always going to run this direction for tonight. I do not have a motor or even anything to lock the Y in place. Being this direction, it always pushes on the rail, so it's not going to split the switch. But if we go the other way around, it might split the switch, and I don't want to deal with the derailment. So for that reason, the train's going to go this direction tonight, and only this direction. But it works, and I'm very happy about this. Very happy. All right, so let's look at the chat. All right, so good night, Gary. Sorry if I missed you leaving. I was happy to see you here. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Uh, yeah, weight makes a big difference on how it runs. It really, really just keeps it on track much better. It reacts more realistically, and it also balances it better. I did the simple trick of buying sticky, stickyable weights from Amazon for wheels. They work great, quarter ounce a square. You just put a few per car, however many you need for the car, and how much space you have. I actually put like 2 ounces in the front engine because it was too light, and it went from barely running on flat in a curve to it can climb a 3.5% grade. So makes a big difference. Weight is a good thing. So highly recommend putting weights in your stuff if you can. So Jersey Bill, I wanted to say thank you for the compliment. I don't know if you missed or saw the derailments I had on the switch over there. One of my cars split the switch at every lap for whatever reason. I don't know. So I switched from the V rail to the CP rail, but it works. So that's a good thing. I'm very happy with this. Wiring's tucked. Again, that I'm going to have to show you on a video. How neat. You barely see any wire at the switch panel there. My controller area is another thing because that part's not done. But that switch panel was permanent there, so I did a good wiring bit for, well, good to my standard anyways. And the bridge, I'm happy. I mean, it's just a piece of wood for now, so it's not actually fancy or anything, but it's stable, it's level, good enough level for a train level, and it works. I can see the vision for myself. I know you guys probably can't, but I'll give you a preview. So I've had this CN green bridge since I was a child. That was one of my first thing I got as a kid for my trains. I found this in a hobby shop, and I don't see many of these. I think girder bridge with pre-painted sides, but this one was pre-painted from Atlas, and I really liked it, and I've kept it all these years. So this is going on the layout. This is going to be over the main line at the back. So this will go somewhere here, like this, over the main line, with a curved bridge again that goes to this section, and we're going to have, like I said, two tracks here going, like splitting here. One goes that way, one goes this way. The one that goes the way I am, like on my side right now, is going to do a loop around over there and come back up. So it's just going to be a much longer loop. It's going to be a figure eight, but I think it's going to be pretty nice. This is the track that has a minimum radius of 22 inch, but also the track that will have a steep grade on the loop. Um, it's going to be compromised. Like I said, for freight, it's going to be an operational challenge, which is a good thing. And for passenger, well, passenger trains aren't that long. All of my passenger trains are 3 or 4 cars, so not a problem. This one's the longest. Technically, it's a 5-car train, because the second engine is a dummy. But other than that, it's. But I've tested it, and it goes up the steepest part of the hill. It's completely fine. So to me, this is a huge success. What time is it right now? Uh, it's it's 10. Nice. So I did the main part I wanted in the 2 hours I had. I will keep the stream going. Actually, it's going quite well, and I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun. Um, so, uh, so yeah, this is the track plan and the layout so far. Let's see, what am I missing in the chat? Uh, yeah, neon mood. That's pretty good. Uh, so I'm just gonna try. I'm curious what your. I missed a part, Holly. Oh, you needed to add weight. Oh, you're the one adding weight. So if it's freight cars, it shouldn't be too complicated. I don't know enough about ON30 to know how they're usually built. I don't even know the brands that make ON30. But the bigger it is, the more secure, but also the more robust it should be. So I would say go for it. Totally worth it. Um, Dave would kill you. Dave doesn't have to know. It'll stay between us if you break something. Um, uh, best, I think this is the best advice. Try it on something you don't like first. I would say uh, if it's not something you don't like, because most people don't buy something you don't like. If you have a train show near, find something you like, but that's all beat up and very cheap. That way, if it does work, you'll have something you like. And if it doesn't work, it was cheap and already beat up, so you're not fully responsible for its state. So I would say that would be my best bet. Also, Bachman usually has exploded diagrams online that are available, uh, so that should help uh, to see where the screws or clips are. I'm often confused looking at them, but if you really take section by section, you can figure out something. That would be my best guess. So yeah, uh, either a hobby shop that sell used trains or a train show. Go in a cheap bin somewhere where where they have cheap, not broken but beat up cars, and try with those first. That would be my first instinct if I wanted to try something. That is why my first DCC install was in an Athearn ready to roll and not in a fancy locomotive, because those are much more simpler and there's plenty of guides online. It was uh, it was not as stressful as installing a fancy sound decoder in a $300 locomotive, right? It's baby steps. You can't go head on with the most difficult first. Well, you can, but you're not going to enjoy the process. But if you do baby steps, it should make should ease you into something you're comfortable with. So, all right. Well, with this success, I'm gonna go grab a cup of water, and I'll be right back. And we're gonna run some trains. Actually, let's even though it's just a simple loop, let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy what I think is a neat bridge, and it is a bridge because I can put my hands and stuff underneath, even though it just looks like a straight piece of track to most of you guys. Uh, it is a bridge, so I'm uh, quite happy with this. And so I'll go grab some water, and I'll be right back. If any of you have any requests for train stuff, the only thing I'm not going to run are those fancy passenger cars because they decided to be annoying tonight. So, let's put some stuff away first. I'm not going to be too bad. I'm sorry if this just got less interesting by, not working on stuff, just running trains. But it's to me, it's past 10 p.m. I don't wanna stay up too late tonight since I work tomorrow, and I just want to enjoy my trains. Right? I bought these and I'm building these to enjoy my trains, so that's just what I want to do. I think I've done a good job, so I'll keep at it. You guys can judge me and say it wasn't a good job. That's okay. I'm still gonna enjoy it. So Does it matter where she puts the weight, front, mid, back? Usually I put in the middle. Uh, Jerseyville already answered and said best over the trucks. Depends. In my mind, it makes more sense in the middle because the weight is perfectly distributed across all trucks and doesn't make it front or back heavy. If you have pieces of weights that are separate and you can put an equal amount all over each truck, that would make a lot of sense. But I find it simpler to just have a strip or whatever in the middle, unless there's details in the middle that you want to see, right? That's also another thing. Uh, all right, let's put. I don't know this one. What should I run? Burlington Northern or CN for freight? I'm gonna have to swap around between trains because this one I only have one loop functioning right now. But which one should I run? Burlington Northern or Canadian National? I'm gonna go look at the chat actually. I have a caboose for each, so whatever. Caboose is not the issue. CN for me. All right. I guess steam. I don't have any functioning steam engine for HO scale. I know, blasphemy. I really would love a small steam engine like Dave. Either the New York Central or the new one, the new Rio Grande you just got. I think I'd take this the New York Central first. I really need one of those small steams. They just look so beautiful. I do have one steam engine, but it was my first ever model train engine. Unfortunately, it's a Bachmann with the case with the cracked gears, so it's a display until I buy the replacement parts. But yeah, so CN. There you go. We're gonna run this beauty of a GP9M that never existed. That I did the paint details on it, and CN caboose that goes with it. So that's exactly it, Colleen. This is the whole point of working on your layout is to run your train. So I know, and there's a thing in the car world called mid-build motivation, where sometimes when a build is big and takes a while, you can lose sight of the end or feel like it's never ending or it's not like it's never going to be worth it because you're never going to see the end of the and you need some mid build motivation, which is exactly what I'm doing, right? By having some reward, it's motivating me mid build while building it to keep on going and do uh, more of this stuff to keep working on it, right? Seeing results. So for scenery, seeing the result the next day is the motivation because it's when you leave and you come back and it's perfectly dried and settled in that it really looks good and seeing your train go through the scenery. But for wiring and just track laying, the same as soon as you can run the train on it, it just feels so good, right? It's just perfect. That's the whole point of doing this is to do this. So, all right. Let's wait till the train is gone, so I'm not dropping anything on the train. There you go. And I'll put it over here. Also, the person who gave me the Via Rail passenger car gave me two of these signs, which I thought they're beautiful. I haven't poked any hole in them yet to put on the layout, but this one's going right here. And the other one, you can't see where it's going to go because it's behind the camera, but they're both going on the layout away from the sun so they don't get tarnished by the sun. So, yep, that's I'll put it here for now, but it's going to get hung on the table there. All right, so let's run some CN. Uh, so, Raven, I know we all love to run trains and we all love having a permanent layout. If you can't, which you said earlier that you couldn't, buying a track with pre-built roadbed like Easy Track is usually the best way to go. So you can set it up on the table, like the dining table or whatever, for the afternoon and put it back. I would advise to go with the Kato Unitrack stuff instead of the Bachman Easy Track. They're more durable, they look nicer, and best part, the joiners are replaceable. Easy Track, when either the, for whatever reason, attach rail joiner or the plastic joiner breaks, that piece of track is trash. It's no longer usable. Well, kind of, but not really. Unitrack, the joiners are the same for N scale and HO scale. They have the rail joiners, the metal rail joiners for electric connection are squeezed in a plastic shell that clips on both sides of the track, so it's all one piece, but it's not attached to any piece of track. So if that breaks or expands or doesn't do a proper connection anymore, you can just replace it without replacing your whole track. So I highly, highly recommend using Unitrack. And yes, that's for HO scale. I know it's more popular in N scale, but they're starting to gain a little bit of market in HO scale, and it's totally worth it. All right. Now, I'd like to show the unit joiners. Since they're the same in N scale and HO scale, I can show you on where is my clear replacement? All right, so I'll go in front of the camera. So this is an N scale piece of unit track, but they use the same joiners for both. When you buy replacement joiners, they come with this little tool, which is made to take out the joiners like this, so that you can replace it with either one with a power feeder in it or just another one that's better. So this is the joiner. It has a clip on each side. I'm just above the camera. All right. So it just works and it just clips in the track right like this. You just heard the click, and it's replaceable. So that's why I would recommend Unitrack for temporary track if you don't have anything yet. Alright, so let's finally put the CN that was requested. Sorry it took a while. I just wanted to explain something else. So this train is getting off the station and put in a safe spot so it doesn't fall off the layout, but it's also easy to reach. This, and I'm going to pack it up so easy. engine on the track, and let's put some cars behind it. I don't know what I'm gonna put, but I'm gonna put some stuff. Actually, I could. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do just that. This. Let's go pick up the cars that are on the hill with this engine and use some of them. Let's do some kind of operation, shall we? Well, this is great. This is actually great. We'll see how it could. These little Walters Trainline engines are just the best. This one's from 2010 and it just still runs like a brand new one. I'm glad you're enjoying Kato, Colleen. I'm sorry if I'm always out of the screen. I just want to make sure I can see the chat properly. Cats are the enemy of layouts. You are not wrong. Where I used to live, my cat could roam on it, but after she was past 2 years old, she learned not to get on the table and she would just leave the trains alone. She would sit on my lap and watch. Unfortunately, I do not have that cat anymore. And the new cats we have in the new house, they're not allowed in the train room so far, so they've been pretty well. They can't get on the table if they can't get in the room, so problem solved. um, all right, so let's switch over to the tracks. I'll just run these straight cars. They look great, and they're usually not problematic cars. Usually, let's see how that goes today. I'm gonna run that one as well. Because why not? It's just a cute little. And even, well, it's not really a long train, but even if it would be, being all flat wouldn't make it an issue. So there you go. And we have the CN now. Um, while I do enjoy this caboose being my first caboose, and I have a second one like this, I would like at one point a fancy caboose to these for CN. I'm going to change the order of 10 cards. All right. Good night, Moho. Thank you for coming. It was nice to see you here. Let's talk tomorrow at work. Uh, so, how are you guys enjoying the stream so far? Is it good? Fine? Do you want me to move the camera? Do you want me to add cameras now that we're just running trains? Keep in mind the layout's pretty bare, so you wouldn't see a lot more. But I could try to move the camera, get it a little closer and a little element. I could do that. I could move the camera. Why do I convince myself that easily? Move the pole. Yeah, the pole. Well, that pole's not moving. Otherwise, the house is gonna fall. So, you know, let's uh, let's see how that looks. All right. So those who are easily seasick, watch out. I'm moving the camera. Oh, will the wire reach? I don't think it will. Well, we'll have to think about that one again. Give me a minute. The wire's not reaching. So that's an issue. I forgot about that. Usually I move my laptop around, but I didn't this time. And it's biting me in the back, clearly. Uh, I don't think you want to see me pole dance, buddy. I really don't think so. Uh, yeah, no, it doesn't matter for who. Pole dancing is not my cup. Dancing in general is not my cup of tea. So no, no, it's not happening. I might disappoint some people, but I'm not pole dancing tonight. What I can do is add more cars to this train. That's something I can do because why not? Actually, yeah, more than that, uh, these are in between those big box cars because trains are. Let's go pick them up manually. So what you're seeing here is why I wanted a pretty decent table size. I wanted to run, you know, a good length of a train, and I think this is a decent length, and it doesn't look too out of place. And when you keep in mind the fact that it's going to be twice as long of a main line when I use the entire part, it's not going to be too bad. I could stand on the chair more. That I can do for sure. Uh, So, while there's no, I'm gonna ask again just to make sure. Do you guys want me to sit on the chair just for the thrills? Um, I have no problem with doing that. I've done some more dangerous stuff for this. Ah, I mean, with the timing of the chat, I'm not always sure on when the no like which the no said. Oh man, this is 50-50. Jenny, you split the line. Do you want me to fall and have to rush downstairs, or do you want me to stay up and not? If someone, let's see if someone wants me to risk it. I'm not doing spin. I am not doing spin. Stay. Oh, okay. The girlfriend said no, so we're not doing that. All right. Let's see if I can do something else for the. I mean, I could put some slot cars on the table for now. Always that could be fun. Oh, I wanted to put this one as well. Next slot, I'm adding this guy. I'm so this is just a discussion question, but I'm actually curious. Do you guys try to remember the history of not the actual prototypical car, but how you got your pieces of rolling stock? It sounds weird, but I remember more than I'd like to admit um, how I got most of my rolling stock, and that gives it a sentimental value to me, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I do. Um, like, not all of my rolling stock, I could say that I do, but a lot of it, and I quite enjoy knowing the story of several piece of rolling stock. Um, there's some people, there's some pieces of rolling stock that come from either friends or hobby shops with great people and stuff like that that don't exist anymore. When I say don't exist, I mean the hobby shop. Unfortunately, some of my model train friends have passed, but and some of the rolling stock does come from them. But even the ones that aren't those sad stories, I do try to remember as much as possible. And the one thing I do not want to remember is the price because we don't talk about the price. Um, but am I the only one who does that? Okay, that's her. Hi, Canadian Shield. Glad to see you here. Peer pressure. Uh, peer pressure told me not to. I like doing dumb stuff, so getting up on a chair is just fun to me. Uh, oh, I forgot to put this away. This. So yeah, I'm gonna put a bit of Sea Raven. That's part of it, right? Some of the rolling stock here, actually half of that train is from my childhood, which is some of these are 20 years old and are running like new. Some of them are a little beat up, but some of them are running like new and are over 20 years old, which is pretty amazing if you ask me. And yeah, those like the engine was my first ever engine bought by itself. My two other engines I had before that were from starter set. That caboose is one from one of the two starter set. Um, the blue Procore boxcar and the gondola behind were from a Junction Hobby, I think it was called. It was Junction something. It was a hobby shop in Montreal that my dad got me as a kid. Um, the other cars are from more recent, but I can tell you where they're from each and every one of them. The two first box cars are actually three first box cars are from a hobby shop. From unfortunately, the owner passed away in 2021. Really great person. Um, Yellow boxcar is from eBay, so that's not special. The two tank cars were a good deal at the last train show I went. Um, the last gondola is from a train show as well, and the little shorty high cube boxcar is from the new hobby shop. So I guess I remember those. Oh, those don't go over there. Let's do some slot car stuff. It's just gonna be fun. All right, so let's put on some track for the film. So what could be a good design? I have a lot of space, but I don't know how I'm going to use it and how much I want to go into it tonight. How do I use this? Uh, so, get it in order. I do. Mine is the crack gears tax from Bachman, but I do still have my first original train from my first train set as well. It's a CN Prairie 260 engine, the classic 260 engine from Bachman that used to come in every Christmas set they released at Walmart. Nothing special, quote unquote, but I still liked it. It served me well for quite a few years. Then it broke because Bachman cracked gears. Just a thing. And yeah, that's the unfortunate part. All right, so let's see what I can do for a quick build. Um, Keep in mind, I'm just putting some tracks for the fun of it. So, oh, hi, August. I didn't even see you in here. Uh, I would advise against it, Raven. Do not sell everything. At least don't sell your most valuable, sentimental value wise valuable things, because if when you get back into the hobby, if you can't find them, you'll hate yourself for letting them go. Stuff that you don't really care, you just enjoy having, sure, but stuff that you have, and again, it's not a financial value, it's an emotional value. If some of the pieces you really really like, and you know that if you can't find them again, you will hate yourself for not for selling them, don't sell those. That would be the one thing I would tell you. Don't worry, August. It's It happens. YouTube's weird sometimes. Plus, you, I'm facing away from the camera. I have my back against the camera. You didn't miss much in terms of running trains. What you missed was me putting in some track, which most of it is temporary, but some of it is permanent. You missed me do some wiring, which you couldn't see because it was behind the pole, and you missed me being happy that I could finally. Well, not finally, because I've been running trains on this layout for a while now, but I have an inner loop that is, while this is temporary track, a permanent design. For the rest, I started doing the downslope for the bigger section. I will do a so I'm through. Well, right now, what I put in today was Botman Easy Track. This is temporary. What I'm using is Atlas Snaptrack Code 100. I have some Pico Flex Track, works great. Just depends on what the hobby store has and the price of what they charge for it. Not I'm a cheapskate for certain things, and whatever is cheaper and works for me will be the winner. This makes sense. All right, so I'll go stop the train so I can put pillars so that it doesn't hit while I build this. I need pillars. I have a 2x4 right here that's going to do the job. You're going to tell me this doesn't make sense for your slot car track? Yeah, but it's temporary, so I don't care. If it was permanent, I wouldn't be using this, but it's not. So I just need a straight piece right there, and I'll have slot car track over the train tracks, which is part of the goal of this layout. All right. All right. Let's keep the train going, and then let's see what the chat has to say, and maybe keep on working on the slot car track. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just run a bit more train and stop the stream. I'm gonna stay a little longer for sure, but I don't know how long. Uh, so, all right. So, um, I'm gonna I'm gonna re-explain some stuff I explained at the beginning. Sorry if it's repetitive for some people. It's just there's some context missing to some people here, and I don't want them to be left out. So, what I did tonight was do this U-shaped track after cutting right before the stream the piece of wood that holds the track here. This will be my bridge. This will be an actual bridge the way it is right now. This bridge with a curve, think of in Unstoppable, the movie, the most unrealistic scene where it's almost falling over the track, but it's not. This is the kind of bridge that it's going to look like. That section is going to be a mountain, where the back section is going to come out of the mountain out into a steel trestle bridge. Just, I think it's going to look nice and it's going to fit the scenery very well. There's going to be a tunnel back there for that track and the one at the bottom that goes down because you barely see it, but there is a track back here. This track is going to be the main line. This is going to be a second line that's like a inner loop just for fun. Main line starts here, goes around, goes downward, a pretty steep grade, 3.5 to 4% grade, but it's mostly going to go down that way, not up. And the few times it's going to go up, it's probably going to be the passenger trains, which are short and not that heavy, so it's fine. I tested that part. This is going to go around. There's going to be a huge yard at the bottom here. This yard going to extend is going to be my freight yard. It's going to go around a 3% grade up the layout. It's going to go back here and come back up there. I will do a passenger station here, right on the other side of the pole. It's going to be it's going to be a station that the train goes into it, but it's not going to be super deep. Though I will hide the trains in the station and then into the mountain. So that way I'll be able to park my full passenger trains in there without taking too much space on the layout. I thought it was a neat little idea. This section is going to be a little valley, like an industrial valley area, where there will be one track that goes underneath there, and underneath the layout is going to be a staging yard. That's years down the line. You won't see this anytime soon. Um, so that's the main goal. I wanted 2 loops. I finally found a plan that works for 2 loops. I had multiple back and forths with myself trying to plan something. This is what makes me happy the most. This section, I don't know if you saw it. When it goes out, I will be using a childhood piece of track that I have, which is this CN girder bridge. I just really, really like it. It was painted by Atlas. It's not. I didn't paint this, so because I haven't seen this piece often, I'm quite happy to have it. I recently found 2 online on Facebook Marketplace, but in N scale, so I bought them both. They're still in their boxes. I'm gonna use at least one on my layout later, but that's beside the point. But yeah, that's gonna be this corner over the yard as well. I just think it's gonna look really neat. It's gonna be years of project, but so yeah. Next step will be getting. There's an Atlas starter set that I found for 85 Canadian dollars at a hobby shop. I didn't buy it yet. I will buy it soon whenever I have money for it. It's free shipping for orders over $80, so that $85 set is perfect. I will get some foam road bed to put underneath, do that loop, finish that loop, and call that a day. Then only then I will continue to work on the main line that's going to be longer. For electrical stuff, another part that is very opinion based and not factual. The actual main line that will go up and down will always be powered as soon as the power switch on either the DC or DCC controller is on. The inner loop, well, I call it either the upper loop or inner loop, the one that's currently running, is divided in 2 sectors, section, blocks, whatever. One that is from the switches to there. I call it my double track section or my main section. This one is one block. The other section is another block. Only reason is for when I run DC stuff, I want to be able to park my trains, even if I park them on main lines, which is this oval. I'm fine. I don't care as long as it works. That's what I want. So here I am. Really happy with that. And that wiring has been completed. There are feeders where there need to be. I want to add one over there, but since I don't have the proper type of track right now, I can't add a feeder to it. So there's that. Like I said, the passenger station will be here, partially in a building, partially in the mountain. I will put a spur over there to an industry, and I have a switch here for something. I was thinking of an industry around here, not sure. This might be the switch that goes to the passenger station. I really don't know. We will see when progress goes forward. since I use nails and not glue, it's pretty easy to take apart and put back in if I change my mind on something. So I'm not mad about it. But at the same time, I don't know what I'll do with that switch. I'm very open to whatever happens. So that's where it is. Let's see what you said. Uh, oh wow, I missed a good conversation. I need my mouse to scroll back up. And my USB cable is long enough. Nice. Alright, so where is the mouse itself? Right there. Alright. Oh, Colleen left. Alright, good night if you're still here. Otherwise, I'm sorry I missed you. Alright, so. Well, I missed a good conversation. Um, so, to come back to your previous comments, 3% is steep, but I have 4% in this section, which is really steep regardless of the scale. For freight stuff, I don't find it a problem. I find it as an operational challenge, which is quite fun. Just an opinion. Not recommended for people who just want their trains to run smoothly. Get a flat layout if that's what you want, but clearly I'm used to 4% stuff with my other layouts, and I've been doing that for a while, and I'm okay with it. Uh, for you, Holly, small and short stuff, you can do 4% to give you enough space to do your over and under, and you should be fine. Don't stress too much about it. It's just when you do long trains that it really gets problematic. Uh, whatever it is. Hi, Jeff. Haven't seen you here. I don't remember seeing you here before. Glad to see you. If you did, I'm sorry. I'm bad with names. Don't take it personally. It's just me being bad with names. Uh, I mean, I do. It's not a Power Tech Commander. It's a Rail Power 1370, but I am using a DC power controller right now, and I'm quite. It just works, so I can't complain. So there's that. So I hope this helps you with anything or just was entertaining. If this stream was entertaining to you, my goal has been accomplished. I've done what I wanted, which was make an entertaining stream. Uh, I will add more track for what is it called, my slot car stuff. I'm trying to run a car tonight, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to before I end the stream. What time is it? It's 11. Wow. What controller did you say? So here's the thing. For DC power, I use the Rail Power 1370, which is the same thing as a Rail Power 1300s, except this one has an LED indicator to say that it's on. As far as I know, that's the only difference. I like it. I like to have the LED indicator simply because I'm kind of one to forget my stuff turned on, so at least I have an actual indicator. But if you do go DCC, I have the Digitrax Zephyr Express DCS52. Love it. Would absolutely recommend for DCC. I am not using it right now because I'm not running a DCC train, but I do have two engines that are DCC, and this handles it perfectly fine, and I'm very happy with it. It does have a feature where I can plug my DC controller into the DCC engine, into my Digitrax controller, and I can set my DC controller to control a DCC engine that way. It's a weird feature. That's not why I bought it. Why I bought it was the integrated USB port in the back, so I can connect it to a computer without buying a separate dongle. So that was what gave me the. No, it does not have any amp meter. It's a very basic controller, but it works for me. It was decently cheap at the time, so I'm happy with it. Um, I would not say it's better. I would not say it's worse. I would say it's different. It's better than the NC Power Cab. It has two features that I was looking for on this that the NC Power Cab did it, which is a higher amperage, which is 3 amps over 2 amps. So theoretically, you can run more trains off of it without running out of power. And it has the USB port integrated. The NC Power Cab, you need to buy a separate controller to plug into it, and it's not the cheapest thing, so that you can connect it to your computer. Though the NC Power Cab has one thing over this one. Um, I've seen how people program with it, and it's a little easier just because of the layout of the buttons. This one can do just as much programming as the NC Power Cab. It's just the layout of the buttons and the menus might be a little bit more intricate, and also this having a physical dial that stays where you set it. When you change trains while they're running, the next train gets whatever you has its have it set. So let's say I start a train on the inner loop, set at 35% forward. Then on the outer loop, I back up a train and I stop it there so that it doesn't move, and it's but the last position was backed up, and I switch back to the first train. Well, because my controller was physically set to reverse at 0%, my train will stop and get ready to reverse. Um, you need to set the controller where your train is while you're changing it if you don't want any interruption. It does show on the display when you've typed in the number, but you haven't pressed local again um, where it's supposed to be, so you can set it there. But the dial is in percentage, and you don't have a percentage sign on the knob, so it's kind of finicky. So to control multiple trains through a single controller, I would say that the NC Power Cab is more user friendly. But for general use and physical buttons, I do prefer this. And also the extra amperage in the USB port makes it quite feature packed. So there's not a better or worse. They're just different feature, and it really depends on what you're looking for. Have a good one. Have a good night, Raven. Thank you for coming. So, why would you want to connect to your computer? There's multiple reasons. Reason number one, it's easier to program through a computer your DCC locos because you have a menu where you can see the values and then change them. You don't have, and you can see like a more complete graph. You can have more options. It's easier to program. Also, which is the best part, you can run a program on your computer to allow your phone to become a controller for your train, right? So you connect the DCC controller through a USB to your computer, and your computer runs a program that your phone can connect to through your home Wi-Fi, and it becomes a controller for your trains. So all the physical dial issue that I just said are now gone because your phone can do all the controlling, and because it's a digital controller on a touchscreen, it can always be set where it needs to be. So, and if you have a friend over that also brought their own engine. They can turn on their phone, control their own engine through their phone while you control your train through your this or your phone as well. So this connected to a computer solves every issue that I've had that I could have with this. Well, I kind of have with this, um, and the program is free. So that would be why I do this. So this is a Digitrax Zephyr Express DCS52, and my DC controller, which is the most basic but reliable controller, is the Rail Power 1370. Simple as that. So I hope this helps. Yes, you do have to put an app on your phone, but it's a free app. There's a paid version and a free version, but you can do the basics with the free version. Um, so that would be why I'd recommend this one over the other one. So yeah, I hope this clarified of uh, your questions, August. It's and the Digitrax controller, you don't have to do all the things I just said you have that it can do. It's just nice that you know that you can, right? I just started doing DCC. I haven't done much with it. I haven't plugged it into a computer. I know it's capable of. I know it. All the software is there. I've seen people do it. I've been to places where people do it, but you don't have to if you don't want to. And for a beginner, it's very beginner friendly, as in you plug into the power, you plug your track into the two track ports, you put the programming track to the programming track, you power it on, and you use it. You can keep it as simple as that. You can do more features, but you don't have to. It's just knowing that they're there when you're ready to learn that next step is nice. That simple. So yeah, I hope I hope this was helpful. Honestly. So we're gonna do a small change. While I enjoyed this train a lot, we're gonna put a Burlington Northern train on simply because Siena's had its turn. I'm gonna swap the engine in the caboose. I'll be right back. All right, well, have a good one, Jersey Bill. I don't know for how long I'm gonna stream still. I'm just gonna swap the trains over and then probably shut the stream. It's already 11 at my time, over past 11. So it was fun. Thank you for coming, and I will see you on the next stream. For people still here, I'm not done yet. I'm just having fun. Let's put this one on. Oops. The caboose has been changed. We will need to go pick it up, but it has been changed. Let's see how this one goes. Love this little 30 B30-7. Let's go pick up the cars first. This, and then let's go pick up the caboose, and we'll be on our merry way. Oh, caboose didn't latch. Oh boy. If it didn't latch this time again, I'm just gonna push it with the engine up until here. It's gonna be easier to just push it. Oh, oh, we have a bigger problem here. gondola has lost its. Where did the screw go? It lost its truck. What? That is not one. Not expected. Yeah, yeah, I bought it used, but it was functioning right for a while now. Why did it just suddenly drop? Huh. I'll pick up the caboose at the same time. Alright, so I'll run the train without the gondola for now. I will add it later. I just want to fix it first. That was the oddest thing ever. Wrong screwdriver. This is a Phillips. I need a flatbed. I don't know what's the proper name for flatbed. Local brand, depends on the scale. N scale, definitely Kato. They just work great and their detail level is perfectly balanced. As in, it's not too detailed to the point of touching it and it falls apart, but also not too toy-like, where it uh, where you feel like you got a toy, not an actual model. For HO scale, huh? I own more Bachmans than I wish to admit. Atherns run amazing, but the blue box, well, the tab thingy for the blue box and the ready to roll stuff, I'm not a fan. Atlas is incredible. Kano's great. I think Walters would be my favorite for the train line stuff or even mainline. Yeah, Walters. Just like Kato for N scale, it's the perfect balance between ease of use, ease of work, but also great detail level. Right? It just works, but it looks great doing it. So I would say, yeah, Walters or Atlas for new stuff. Use it's a different story. Um, although after I'm saying that for running trains, definitely Athers are unbeatable for a HO scale for many reasons. Um, but I don't know. Working on them is not as nice. So yeah, Walters. I'll go with Walters. I need more Walters in my life. Everyone needs more Walters in their life. Walters are great. Hello, Clintonville. Glad to see you here. Oh, my N scale loco is definitely Kato with Atlas as a second place. Uh, for both are there because of their incredibly well balanced uh, between detail level and runability. But Rapido stuff is incredible for Canadian models. I will I will get one out. This this Rapido model is just looks incredible, runs really good, but and the detail level is above what any webcam can capture. The problem with these is they're so detailed that they're a lot more picky on what they can run on. So sometimes having a little bit less details for ease of use will win for me. That's an opinion, not a fact. Well, the fact that it is a fact that more details are more sensitive to run. It's an opinion to know whether you want to go the extra mile to run the nicer stuff or you want to just something that runs well. That's an opinion. So, need more Walters in your life. Yeah. Again, there's nothing inherently wrong with Rapido and N scale. They're finicky, but they're great in many ways. It's just being so detailed makes them a lot more finicky to run, and your layout's going to be need to a little bit more work to make it run properly on it. That's just why I'm not I wouldn't say Rapido as my first choice. Otherwise, they're amazing. So okay, so for Walters, just I'm gonna defend my point, I guess. I know I don't need to, but I will still. Um, the reason I chose Walters is because my most recent Walter is a 2020 or 2019 train line, so I guess I don't have any good reference. Uh, but the train line, especially and the main line for cars, is very reliable. It looks really good doing it, but it's also easy to work on. Maybe I don't have a good reference because I didn't buy any 2024 Athearn mainline or protos. Maybe that's my bad. Um, but yeah, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my choice will be Athearns after all. I don't know. Uh, it's hard to just have one, right? It's really it depends on what you want to do. I don't actually own any scale trained engine. I never found any good deals on one that interested me. So there's nothing wrong with them. It just hasn't happened to me. It's just never, and I never felt the need to own one. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I've been happy with what I have and what I found, and it just never happened to be one. Yeah, or I can just not. I I've seen good things about Intermountain. I also don't have any engines from them. They had a few SD40s that came out that looked great. Uh, good to know. Good to know. I have an Atlas that has that issue of all things. Usually Atlas are not a problem, but this one is. But yeah, um, I heard good things about Intermountain, and they had a run uh, of SD40-2s, which are one of my favorite engines out there. But the problem with that is that Kato also came out with one, and I don't want to gamble on a loco that I don't know how it's going to behave when I do know that a Kato is going to run great. So Probably gonna end up buying a Kato if I ever end up buying one. Yeah, that's that's my stance on this. There's, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just my opinion. So do what you want with that information. So passenger consist and N scale, the reliability is really not great. Only the Kato cars have been reliable for me, so that's why I haven't done as much as I wish I did. Because N scale feels like it should be D scale for passenger trains because you can do a nice long train with a nice wide curve without taking too much physical space in wherever you have the spot for. But the reliability is so not great on N scale. HO scale is great, but at the same time you're like, okay, well, let's do switching in N scale then. But the couplers are super tiny, so you need to rely on magnets, which don't always work properly, and your coupler needs to be perfect for that to run to work. So then you do switching in HO scale, but you end up with your passenger train in HO scale, which you love. So you have both on your layout, and then you're like, why do I have two layouts with the same thing on both? Which is exactly what happened to me, and I'm not selling anything. Oh, also, thank you, Clintonville. The last strip that I added was on stream, me standing up on a rolling chair, so that was entertaining for people. If you go back on the layout, you might on the stream you might see that quite sketchy. But yeah, yeah. So see, the counter couplers are problematic for coupling and uncoupling, but once they're clipped in, to me they've been great. They've been my most reliable ones for passenger stuff in NCR. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. Let's see what I do. What I do next. So I'm gonna put uh, my money where my mouth is, and I'm gonna give DCC a run because I feel like running DCC. Um, I'm gonna just swap the engine and the caboose for my CP rail stuff because that's DCC now, and run that for before I end the stream, which will be in a few minutes, unfortunately for you guys. Um, I'm starting to be tired, and I still have to work tomorrow. All right, so I will grab my CPRL DCC engines, and I'll be right back. Alright, so first things first. When I put DCC trains on the track, I usually like to turn off the power to the track, simply in case I accidentally um, short something. It prevents me from well frying everything at this point by simply turning off the power to the track. And having having those switches is nice because I can keep a train running while I put another train on the track on a section that's turned off, right? So, and coupling. And don't worry, I'll change the caboose when it comes around. Right? I may change more cars in that consist to run the more standard CP rail consist that I usually run. There's uh, there's nothing wrong with the current consist, but I just kind of like certain things the way they are, and I want to keep it that way. I really like that F unit. I really like it. Yeah, I'm gonna do the switch on. So, let's put. Actually, it's gonna be a little different than usual, but you guys won't know the difference. I'll do a kind of switching by building the consist one car at a time. Well, not one car at a time, but I'll go pick up the cars I want to add here. There you go. So let's go pick up this so that my train has a buffer car between itself and the tank cars. Let's go pick up the tank cars. We're going to drop off the high cubes because F units and high cubes don't really belong in the same era. Actually, I'm going to remove all four of these cars, so I'm just going to take them off manually. I'll go pick up what I want to add, but I'll manually remove them. Alright, so let's go grab this box car. You guys did not see that. Right, so let's put Taylor Popstar behind this. And let's put my two flash tires because why the heck not? Let's do a lap around as if it needed to go pick up the car somewhere else. Yep, why not? It's my trains after all. Right? My layout, my rules. That's what they say. I have not been good at paying attention to the chat tonight. I am sorry, guys. Alright, so, anything. I'm wondering if I should. Oh, DC or. So, for me, I'm sorry if I'm back, way back. HO scale, I haven't seen as much of a big difference for DC and DCC in the new market. Used market, bigger difference, much bigger difference. Um, so the controllers are the same, so it's the same price whether it's N scale or HO scale. Um, I would say DCC for HO scale because fitting decoders into DC engines are much easier in HO scale than N scale. First of all. Second of all, switching is more fun with HO scale being easier with the couplers, and switching is easier with DCC. So there's that. But on the other hand, N scale I wouldn't say that. N scale I'd say just go DC. That's a personal opinion. Hi Russ. Sorry, it's the stream's about to end. Actually, what time is it? It's 33. So it's 11:33. I'm gonna end it in about 10 minutes. So sorry I missed you. Uh, okay, well for used, DC is gonna be much cheaper. Doesn't mean you should go DC though. Cheap DCC decoders that just are that you solder yourself are definitely worth the upgrade to use on a DC train. I'd still do DCC for HO scale, but I buy DC engines and convert them like Dave does. Uh, it it's just simpler and cheaper that way. You get almost all the functionality and the joys of DCC while um, still not breaking the bank too much. So that's what I use. But that's a personal opinion. You really don't have to follow my. Oh, I'm right. I forgot. I turned off the power. You really don't have to follow my advice. I never said they were good advice. It just said they were advice. chat in just a second. We're gonna pick up uh, this last part of the consist, do a few laps, and then call it a day. It was quite fun, but I'm getting tired, and I've done the main thing I wanted to do, which was get that bridge up. So, let's do a few laps. Let's hope everything goes well. I did see the engine stutter over there earlier. Did it? That is partially my fault. When I built that, when I put a decoder in that engine, I didn't do the best wiring job. So one of the truck is not picking up properly. So sometimes it stutters when the track's dirty, but that's on me. I mean, if you're going really a lower number, save yourself the money and uh, and just go DC. Honestly, I don't know your budget, but controllers are not the cheapest. Are really not the cheapest. You can get some good cheap DC controllers. If if money's tight, don't bother with DCC. Honestly, I mean you can run DC trains on DCC stuff. It just the motors don't like it. So long term, it's a really bad idea. Short term, it's fine. Uh, just as FYI. If you already have the DCC controllers, yeah, sure, by all means, get DC engines and get cheap decoders. That would be the best way to get the most for your money, honestly. But that would be it. So I'm sorry guys if I'm not as energetic. I'm just tired. That's all. Had a big day at work today, and then this, which was all positive. Don't get me wrong. Just tiring, you know. Uh, so so yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Um, don't forget to leave a like, uh, comment. Feel free to rewatch my stuff. To leave a comment, suggestions, requests, anything. I'm always open to it. Uh, tonight tonight is a proof of that. I didn't know what to do, and I asked the community, and the community answered. I appreciate you guys' um, input. That's actually what makes this community great. Oh, yep, I messed with the wiring. That's my fault. There's a joiner that's finicky. But yeah, I appreciate everyone's feedback at all times. Also, my friend actually asked me to run my HO stuff, but he was probably hoping for the slot cars to be there as well. Um, Next week, I don't know which layout I'm going to run. I'm probably going to do a poll again. That's going to be um, up to you guys for next week, unless something happens and only one layout is available again. But otherwise, we'll see what happens. Don't expect any any new things on the layout, so no new track, no new nothing. I don't have anything on order, and where I live, it takes at least a week to come in. So um, it's gonna be if we do HO scale stuff, it's gonna be slot car. That's gonna be the new thing, as in a new slot car track. From what I have, if it's N scale, either I set the main track up back, or we do the small layout. Either or doesn't matter. And yeah, so that's gonna be it. Have a good night, everyone. It was really fun to have you here. And if you guys have anything, like I said, let me know. Leave a comment. If you think of something later, leave a comment on the live stream replay. I will go and reply there. I'm trying to be as proactive as possible on that end. And yeah, all right. have a good night. It was nice to see you guys.